So you've signed up for Napoleon's Grande Armée. You're marching under the most famous general in Europe, the guy who turned Austria into a doormat, slapped Prussia silly, and made Spain regret existing. France is winning everywhere. The empire looks unstoppable. You've got a smart uniform, shiny boots, and maybe, just maybe, you'll come back home with some loot and a story that makes the ladies swoon. But then, Napoleon announces his next move. Mes amis, we are going to Russia. At first, you cheer. Russia sounds exotic. You picture vodka, fur hats, maybe a snowball fight or two. How bad can it be? Well, let's put it this way. If hell had a winter edition, this was it. And you, poor soldier, are about to become the frozen main character. The invasion of Russia in 1812 is one of the biggest military campaigns ever attempted. Napoleon gathers over 600,000 men. 500,000 bodies moving east, not just Frenchmen, but Poles, Germans, Italians, Spaniards. It's like Europe's most chaotic group project, with Napoleon as the overly ambitious team leader. And at first it feels glorious. The sheer size of the army is terrifying. Villagers gawk, officers strut, soldiers sing marching songs. You think, there's no way Russia can handle this. But then you realize something. Russia is very far away. Like, are we there yet? Levels of far away. Day after day, you march across endless fields. Dust, mud, rain. You carry a musket, 30 pounds of gear, and a stomach that won't stop growling. By the third week, your boots are falling apart, your coat stinks, and your buddy next to you snores so loud you consider desertion. And the Russians, they don't fight you. Not in the way you expect. You came for glorious, dramatic battles with bayonets shining and cannons blasting. Instead, every time you get close, they just retreat. They keep moving further back into their country. It's like chasing someone who's ghosting you. The further you chase, the more humiliating it gets. But here's where it gets evil. The Russians don't just retreat, they burn everything behind them. Whole villages go up in flames, crops destroyed, wells poisoned, granaries emptied. You walk into a town expecting food and shelter, and instead you find ashes and smoke. The air smells like barbecue, but there's nothing to eat. Suddenly, you're hungry all the time. Rations run out. Soldiers eat grass, roots, whatever they can scavenge. If you're lucky, you kill a horse and share its meat. If you're unlucky, you chew on leather straps just to trick your stomach into shutting up. Imagine trudging through a wasteland where every step forward just makes things worse. The only constant meal is disappointment. When you finally reach Smolensk, the Russians stand their ground. You get your first taste of serious fighting cannonballs, musket fire, smoke and screaming. It's ugly. Thousands die. The city burns. You're exhausted but still moving forward. Then comes Borodino, the big one. Napoleon finally gets the battle he wanted. And congratulations, you, the unlucky soldier, get dragged into one of the bloodiest single days in the Napoleonic Wars. The ground becomes a swamp of mud and blood. Horses collapse, men vanish in cannon fire. Bayonet charges leave heaps of bodies. Napoleon technically wins, but it's the kind of victory where no one cheers. You're too tired, too bloody, too traumatized. Out of every 3 guys you marched in with, 1 is dead or maimed, and still, Napoleon says, onward to Moscow. Weeks later, you finally see Moscow's golden domes. Relief floods you. Finally, food, shelter, civilization. The campaign will be worth it. Except when you get inside, the city is burning. Literally burning. The Russians set their own capital on fire rather than let Napoleon use it. You stare at smoking ruins, wondering if this is some kind of cosmic joke. There's no food, no supplies, no warm beds, just ruins and smoke. So what do you eat? Horses, leather, rats, anything remotely chewable. There are stories of soldiers boiling leather straps for soup. Others break into houses looking for hidden stores of grain and find nothing but ashes. It's misery with extra misery sprinkled on top. And then, as if things weren't bad enough, winter arrives. Now, when I say winter, don't picture cozy snowflakes and warm cocoa. Picture your eyelids freezing shut. Picture your wine turning into ice before you can drink it. Picture soldiers dropping dead just because they sat down for 5 minutes. At night, you huddle with your buddies for warmth, praying the wolves circling the camp don't pick you as their midnight snack. Every morning, you find frozen corpses stiff in the snow. Some soldiers freeze mid-step, like grotesque statues dotting the roadside. Your uniform is a joke. Thin wool against Siberian winds. Some men wrap themselves in rugs, curtains, even dead animals. Anything to stop the cold from killing them. You look less like a proud French soldier and more like a desperate scarecrow trudging west. When Napoleon finally gives the order to retreat, it's already too late. The once proud Grande Armée is now a shambling mob. Starving, freezing, constantly ambushed. Cossacks. Russian horsemen swoop in like hawks, slashing and vanishing. Peasants with pitchforks attack stragglers. Wolves stalk the desperate. Crossing the Berezina River is a nightmare. Bridges collapse under the weight of thousands scrambling to cross. Men drown in icy water. Others are crushed in the chaos. By the time you stumble to the other side, you're not an army anymore. You're survivors of the world's most miserable road trip. Out of the original 600,000 men, barely 100,000 make it out alive. Some historians say fewer. The rest, dead, captured, or left behind in frozen fields where their bones stayed for years. And here's the kicker. It was all pointless. Napoleon didn't conquer Russia. He didn't force a surrender. All he achieved was turning the greatest army in Europe into a cautionary tale. His aura of invincibility cracked, and his enemies realized he could bleed. From that point on, the downfall of Napoleon began. As for you, the unlucky soldier, you went to Russia expecting glory, and you came back with frostbite, trauma, and maybe half your fingers. You don't tell heroic stories by the fireplace. You just shake your head whenever someone mentions snow. So the next time you hear someone romanticize Napoleon's campaigns, remember the poor soldier who marched into Russia with a feather in his hat and marched out looking like a half-frozen zombie. History isn't just about emperors and generals. It's about the people who suffered through their bad decisions. If you enjoyed this journey into one of history's biggest military disasters, hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more tragic, hilarious, and ridiculous wheels from the past. Because trust me, history is full of glorious moments that, if you were actually there, would suck beyond imagination.